What is happening, guys? Rules for Rebels here. Today we are going to be doing a review of Import Dojo, which is a guide on importing, private labeling, and Amazon FBA selling. It's kind of a guide on all three elements. One cool thing about this course is the way that it's taught. There's a lot of videos as well as tutorials. Everything's very concise and easy to follow. And one of the things I really liked about this course is basically the creator of the course shows you step by step how to source, how to private label, and how to list a product on Amazon. And he basically does an over-the-shoulder case study and shows you how he actually does a French press, from private labeling to importing it to putting it up on Amazon. A couple things I wanted to mention about courses right off the bat. Really, anything that you can learn in a course, you can learn absolutely free through YouTube channels like mine and others, through blogs, through forums. There's really no need to pay for a course. When you pay for a course, you're essentially paying for free information. However, the person who put together the course has kind of consolidated a lot of information and organized it for you in a clear and easy to follow fashion. So as opposed to you going to one forum to learn how to use keywords in your Amazon listing and then having to go search a question about how to contact a supplier in another forum, as opposed to running around and having to collect and compile all these bits and pieces of information, with a course, somebody has kind of already done that for you. So that's kind of the benefit or the reason why somebody might buy a course. In my opinion, the best learning is self-learning. I recommend that people go buy a couple units of a cheap product, import it from China, kind of get their feet wet and see how the process works. Even if you don't wind up selling the stuff, even if it's a competitive industry and you can't wind up making a single sale, at the very least, you're going to learn a lot from it. And I think in a lot of ways, you're going to learn more from that than you are from watching some video or going through some course. I recently got contacted by somebody and they said, hey, I need your help, launching my first Amazon product. They said, I have a pretty low budget because I already spent $2,500 on a course. So let's think about this. So this guy doesn't really have any money to start the actual business or buy inventory. And the reason is because he shelled out $2,500 on a course to teach him how to do it. Well, how silly is, I don't mean to make fun of the guy, but how silly is that you pay all this money to learn a business that you're now going to be unable to do because you spent all your money on a course? In my opinion, there's no reason to pay thousands of dollars for an Amazon coach or a course. Anybody who tells you so is, in my opinion, kind of full of crap. Cody Hawk kind of annoyed me in a recent video. I really like Cody Hawk. I like his videos, but in a recent video, he said, he basically made the comment that without buying a course, either his or somebody else's, you have no chance of succeeding selling on Amazon or private labeling or whatever else. And I personally think that's very, very bad advice to give. Before a million online gurus were hawking courses, people were figuring out how to do this stuff through trial and error. There's plenty of free information out there, so don't feel like you have to buy a course. Anyhow, a lot of you guys have been looking for a course on importing, private labeling, Amazon selling, and so I decided to do a review of this one. This is one of the better reviewed ones. This course does cost almost $500. I think it's $497. However, they do offer a free 65-page import Bible guide, which actually has a ton of information. I'll link in the description box below to where you can get the free course. Obviously, it's somewhat of a teaser. They're not giving you everything you need to know. They obviously want you to go buy their paid course, but just wanted to kind of give my opinions on this course. So let's get right into it. So the Import Dojo Masterclass, it costs $497. That's pretty steep, right? I agree. I think that's expensive. I don't know that I would ever shell out that much money for a content educational course. However, in the grand scheme of things, I know there's a lot of people paying, $1,500, $2,500, $5,000 for courses. So this is one of the lower priced ones. As far as content, it ranks a 9 out of 10. The community ranks a 5 out of 10. He does have, the guy who created the course does have Facebook groups. He does take people. I think it's a paid upgrade, but if you want to go on a sourcing trip, he'll actually take you and a group of people to China. This course, in my opinion, is kind of more geared towards the actual importing and private labeling process and less geared towards Amazon. The other complaint I would have about any Amazon course is Amazon is changing so quickly, changing policies, changing how the site's laid out. Amazon's changing everything so frequently that like literally a course that was made a couple weeks ago may not be up to date in terms of best practices. And worst case scenario may even be giving you advice that could get your account suspended. I'll just give you an example. I'm not saying Import Dojo is teaching anything wrong or anything like that, but just an example. If you bought a course made prior to October 4th, it would have told you, do product giveaways, give products away in exchange for reviews. However, as soon as October 4th, the next day rolls around, all of a sudden now Amazon changes a policy and you're no longer allowed to do that. So if you bought a course which is pitching do a bunch of product giveaways, your marketing plan is pretty much shot down the drain. So getting back to the review, as far as importing, 9 out of 10. Price, probably should have been ranked a little bit lower on price than 9 out of 10. This course is cheaper than a lot of other courses, but it still costs a pretty penny. The pros of this course, very, very strong on importing. Very comprehensive, goes into great detail while at the same time still keeping things very concise. Valuable case study with the example of the French press, which really kind of illustrates how to roll out a product for you, and very well priced for what you get. The cons is I think most new Amazon sellers would probably need more. I think they'd be left confused after taking this course because, like I said, it focuses more on the importing process than it does on Amazon. And another con is the community isn't very active. So are expensive courses like this worth it? Most information and courses can be found completely free on YouTube or blogs and forums. The only minor headache is that you have to crawl through all that information. The value of a course, if you're willing to pay for it, is it's going to shorten a learning curve, and potentially you're going to learn good strategies and methods that are unique to the person who's teaching the course. I can say this course, I'm not recommending this course, I'm not crapping on this course necessarily, but I can say this course is taught by a guy who obviously knows his stuff. I like the case study of the French press as a way to approach the lessons. The production quality is pretty good. The guy has a little bit of a heavy accent, which makes it a little bit tough, but the guy who made this course is actually a former buyer who was living in China working for other companies as a buyer. He knows his stuff, he knows what he's doing, and he's definitely qualified to teach this course. So Import Dojo is a course, like I said. My thoughts on this course: the creator is extremely knowledgeable and well qualified. The video production is very good, making the content easy to watch, and things are laid out clearly and concisely. Things are addressed through a case study of private labeling of French press. The course is great, but ultimately Amazon changes too much to the point where something a few months dated may no longer be relevant. My overall education method is to try alone until you hit a roadblock, do just enough to get past that roadblock, and then keep moving along until you hit another roadblock. I typically don't buy courses, but it's something I've been opening my mind up to a little bit more lately. I think you learn more from importing, listing, and selling on your own than you're going to learn from somebody else teaching you. But when somebody else is teaching you, they gather all the information, share personal experiences, and lay it out in an organized fashion. And that's basically what you're paying for with the course. There is a community with this program, but it just doesn't seem that active. So in just a second here, I'm going to take you over to a little bit more detailed review of what's going to be covered in this course. Okay, so a couple things here, guys. First off, if you want to get a free copy of the 65-page Import Bible, this is completely free. You can go to importdojo.com, and you just got to sign up, opt into his email list, and you're going to get the 65-page Import Bible completely free. I'll give you a quick look at some of the stuff kind of covered in this course. There's screencasts and tools, Import Business Course, Business in China, the FBA Bible, and the Import Bible. There's a community, like I said, it is kind of weak. The creator does offer some coaching. I think that might be an add-on. Talks more about the course, the Import Bible, reorders and what to keep in mind, how to deal with the Chinese New Year, which is basically when everything shuts down for like a month, staying in touch, common mistakes when importing, advanced negotiation tactics, quality control, shipping and courier services, which is something a lot of people have questions on, product liability insurance if you're selling something like hoverboards or something like that. Really every aspect of this that you would want covered is pretty much covered. The FBA Bible, as far as Amazon, what's FBA? Is it still profitable? The process in a nutshell, find and source your products. They touch on taxation, which I get a lot of questions about. the various levels of subscription services, how to create a product in Seller Central, aka how to make your listing, receiving goods and how to ship to Amazon. I mean, literally every step of the process is covered here. There's a 2-hour screencast that walks you through everything. Really anything and everything you would want covered, this course does cover. Here's the Import Dojo bonus, which kind of talks about going to China. Like I said, Manuel, the creator of the course, actually does take his mentees or coaching clients to China on a sourcing journey. I thought that was a pretty good idea, although obviously that's an added cost. You're not going to get that for the $497. But let's get into the more detailed review here. So, a sneak peek inside the Import Dojo. Import Dojo Masterclass is different than other private label courses in that it focuses very heavily on the sourcing and importing aspects of this business. I actually hadn't looked into the details of what this course was before I purchased it, but I have been extremely impressed. I do have a link here to where you can get the free 65-page guide to importing. So even if you decide not to buy this course, which quite frankly, I would encourage you guys to learn on your own and not buy a course, but I know a lot of you guys have been asking for one. But even if you don't decide to buy the course, download the free guide. I think it's going to give you some info. The teacher of this course is Manuel Bekvar. He started his career working for a large retailer in Europe and moved to Hong Kong in 2005 to work in their sourcing office. Spent 10 years working for a variety of large retailers. He learned the culture, learned negotiation, learned how to do business, and that's basically what he's going to be teaching you in large part here. This unique experience that he has gives him a unique advantage, as most Amazon sellers, including myself, have learned how to source and import products through trial and error and don't necessarily know the best practices. Manuel is also very active in online forums and communities online. He's got a Facebook group. Here's what you're going to get with the Import Dojo Masterclass. The membership area is broken down into essentially 5 different areas. So number 1 is a case study. This was my favorite part. It's a series of videos that walk you step by step through the process of Manuel launching a French press coffee maker on Amazon. You're going to get the Import Bible, which is a professional edition of how to import products from China, and builds on what you can find in the free version. Again, the free version is the one that you can sign up for and get here. Business in China Guide describes what you need to know in the event you decide to physically visit China or go to one of the giant malls or a trade fair or something like that. This would even be fairly helpful if you go to like a trade show in Las Vegas where a lot of the Chinese suppliers are. There are also Google Hangouts videos, a series of interviews with experts in various areas. Of course, there's also a private Facebook community where you can ask questions. A couple things you should keep in mind. The case study is very heavy on videos. The guides, however, are all in text. Each one of Manuel's videos is kept very short, easy to digest, but he does speak with, I don't know if it's German or what kind of accent it is, but he does have an accent with it, which is a little bit of a challenge. His English is very good, though. Just in case you have trouble with that, though, just wanted to mention it. You can tell he's very meticulous and well prepared in everything he does. The course was very well laid out. It covered pretty much everything I would cover if I were putting together a course. I'm going to segment this into basically 3 areas, this review: content, community, and a unique selling proposition, or what makes this course unique. So we'll skip through that. Import Dojo review, the unique selling aspects. This is USP, Import Dojo Masterclass Cash Study. This is a 53-chapter series that walks you step by step. This should have been case study. This is a 53-page series that walks you through the process of Manuel importing a French press on Amazon. I can't tell for sure, but it appears his approach is to add additional chapters over time as the case study continues to develop. It's also worth mentioning that the videos are of very high production quality. They're easy to watch. It's not like all dark in the background. Regarding the content, you can tell Manuel is an experienced importer. You clearly see the difference between his guide and other people who kind of get by as importers but aren't necessarily experts. Everything's taught in a very comprehensive manner. He talks about exclusivity agreements, purchase agreements, supplier verification forms. He shows you the email templates he sends to his suppliers and describes why he asks for things the way he does. So this is something I've talked about as well. If you approach suppliers in a way that makes you look like a novice, they're going to ignore you. Even if you're trying to place a very small order that's under their MOQ, if you approach them in the right fashion, they'll typically be willing to work for you. I personally, this part of the case study to be the most helpful. I really like seeing the types of questions he asks his suppliers and specific requirements of them before placing an order to make sure he's protected in the event of any problems or to avoid problems in the first place. These are specific topics that I found to be most helpful, as you won't really find information anywhere else. Researching regulations and certifications. So sometimes for electronics and things like that, a lot of the stuff that comes out of China may pass certifications in like Russia or South America, but maybe not the US. So he touches on regulations and certifications, sending out detailed inquiries to suppliers, getting all the information you need about a product, evaluating supplier offers and checking out their backgrounds. I've talked about that before with like the supplier black book and other things like that, asking for references. Calculating duties and costs. A lot of you guys drop comments on my channel asking how much is it going to cost me to import X product. Well, he kind of gives you some guides for calculating this. Collecting vital information about the product and supplier, which you'll later need to list your product. Costing and preparing a shipment from China. Minimizing risks when placing your order, making sure you don't get scammed and that you get what you order. How to arrange your shipping, booking a pre-shipment, product inspection, all types of stuff. And he covers much more than what I've listed above, but this is the content that differentiates Import Dojo from other courses. Most courses are very light on the actual importing part, whereas Manuel really goes into great depth on this. Without wanting to jump too far ahead, this was easily worth the couple $100 that the course cost. Ultimately, the information he provides regarding the process is meant to reduce the risk of you losing money in an unexpected event or working with a poor supplier. I know that I've personally made avoidable mistakes that have cost me money, which is what makes information like this so valuable. Two quick examples of this. During the hoverboard sales rush, I think 2 or 3 times I got scammed out of $500 on Western Union shipments or Western Union payments I sent for samples. And then in one instance, I tried to customize a product that I was selling and wound up getting the entirely different product. And there's really no returns when it comes to dealing on AliExpress. So I was basically stuck with unloading $3,000 to $4,000 of the wrong product. Fortunately, it wound up working out and it sold well. I know I've mostly touched on the importing process, but Manuel actually runs through a full product launch on Amazon. He does a decent job, but in all honesty, I can say that I have enough confidence to rely on him for updates on this Amazon part. I think since I've made this kind of video, I think he has done some updates. I actually made this video a while back, and just now I'm getting to launching it. So I think he has updated this a bit, and hopefully he'll continue to update it. He covers the basics as well, but he's definitely stronger when it comes to importing than he is to like Amazon aspects. That being said, he also offers sourcing services of his own for those that would like to rely on experts as opposed to doing it themselves. So if you're looking for help with sourcing, you may want to reach out to him. Again, that's an added charge. He's not going to do it just because you bought the course. I've actually used his service on a couple of occasions, really just to try it out prior to purchasing the course, and was generally pretty happy with it. The Import Dojo Masterclass Import Bible Professional Edition. I haven't taken the time to see how this compares with the free edition he offers. The free edition looks pretty comprehensive, but obviously people always leave things out, so there's a reason for them to upsell you. It's all text-based. It covers a lot of the same information in the case study, which is all in video form, but it's more general in nature. In that sense, it serves as an excellent resource to reference when needed. It may be a little inconvenient to have to go back to videos when you're looking for specific information, but the guide is largely focused on mistakes to avoid and how to manage a mutually beneficial relationship with your suppliers. The Import Dojo Masterclass Business in China Guide. This part is a 47-page guide about physically visiting China to do business. Well, it would be very helpful. My guess is that most people buying the Import Dojo aren't quite ready to be taking a trip to China, so I'm not sure, how important this part's going to be for you, but nonetheless, it's kind of interesting, helps you understand the culture and stuff a little bit. The guide basically shows you how to have a plan, how to book your trip, the time of the year to go when the import malls are open and or when there's like vendor fairs and things like that, visa requirements, travel and accommodation, do's and don'ts in terms of cultural norms and politeness. Goes through all these areas and more in pretty good detail, but again, unless you plan on actively visiting China soon, that part of the course will be kind of wasted on you. The Import Dojo Masterclass, or the FBA Bible, this is a 64-page text-based guide. It covers the basics of launching a product on Amazon. However, I wouldn't describe it as a comprehensive guide. It's probably not too different than a lot of the free information you can find online with a bit of searching. I do appreciate Manuel's effort towards trying to be complete in his resources for Amazon, but Amazon is clearly not his area of expertise. The FBA Bible does dive into the importing process more than you'd find using free resources, which is helpful, but you're probably better off just referring to his Import Bible case study instead of even messing with this. My largest issue is that I don't have sufficient confidence that he's able to keep up with the rapid changes happening at Amazon. So like I said at the very beginning of this, Amazon is changing policies with no notice every couple weeks, every couple days. So the information that he's giving you may potentially be out of date by the time you buy the course. And if he's not really good about updating the course, you may be working off bad information. I should mention that and I really don't mean to critique this course too hard because of that, because really any Amazon course faces that same challenge. I should mention that he does provide a quality blog post very often. I don't always have a chance to read them. You can find them at theimportdojo.com. I think at the very bottom here, there's a section called Blogs and Updates. And here, Zero to Hero, Building a Brand, Social Media and E-Commerce, Introduction to E-Commerce, Business Incorporation. A lot of you guys ask, like, do I need to be a business? Do I need an EIN? Do I need a tax certificate? So Manuel is constantly writing new blog posts and updating things as Amazon does updates. There's tools and resources. If you want to reach out to him about his sourcing services, it's right here. So this is all at importdojo.com, and the blogs and stuff are all completely free. The Import Dojo Masterclass, Google Hangouts. The Import Dojo Masterclass also includes a series of Google Hangouts where Manuel interviews subject matter experts. To be honest, there were 29 of them as to date. I think they've maybe added some more. I feel like the truth is I feel like I rarely make the effort to go back and watch recorded webinars or Hangouts unless I have a very specific reason to do so. So I didn't get a ton of use out of that. The Import Dojo Masterclass community. This would be really valuable to me if it were more active. If you've read any of my other reviews, you know how important I find an active community to be. I'm taking a bit of a different approach with my Import Dojo review. The Facebook group is much less active than a lot of other groups I've seen, but I've decided not to focus too much on it for the course for a couple reasons. First, the world of importing doesn't change very quickly, so a lot of that stuff is going to be the same. You don't really need updates. The more comprehensive Amazon courses need a very strong community because the business has changed so quickly. Manuel provides a unique quality content on a regular basis and personally responds to posts himself, which is pretty cool. And I think it's also worth mentioning that Manuel provides you with his personal Skype contact information after you sign up, so you've got a more direct resource to make for a slower community. I haven't personally reached out to Manuel, so I can't comment on how attentive he is, but he does provide that info for you. Import Dojo review. In conclusion, my final thoughts are this: that Import Dojo has done a great job on covering importing and is probably worth the price for that alone. It's not strong enough in respect to launching products on Amazon, in my opinion. It covers the basics. It isn't bad, but I don't have enough confidence to say that they'll effectively keep up to date with frequent changes at Amazon. Even if he were able to keep up with all the information, I'd want to see a more active community before I could recommend it as a comprehensive Amazon course. From what I can tell, Manuel seems like a pretty genuine guy and kind of hands-on with his project here. I trust his experience. He definitely knows what he's talking about. He definitely has a desire to help people. And I really enjoyed the case study because it kind of walks you through a real-life example of him actually launching a product. I was hoping I could recommend it as a reasonably priced alternative to some of the more expensive private label courses. If you buy it simply looking for Amazon help, I think you'll be disappointed. If you're really looking for private labeling and importing help with a dash of Amazon, I think you'll be very happy with it. Ultimately, if your goal is to learn how to sell on Amazon, I would still recommend Ecom Elite. I think it's a stronger all-around course. Import Dojo, however, complements other courses, so it's a worthwhile purchase for those who have the budget and want in-depth info on sourcing and importing. So again, I would almost consider this more of a sourcing or importing course than an Amazon course. Given that I'm recommending Import Dojo Masterclass as an important resource and not as an Amazon seller course, I don't think an active community is important. It seems like all the questions get answered, which is the most critical aspect, but there are a fewer discussions. I do recommend this course for the price because I know how complicated the importing process can be. But again, ultimately my advice to everybody is just go out there and rather than spending money on a course, go buy some products and try it yourself. If you fail, you're out some money. Well, guess what? If you bought a course, you're out some money too. And I think you're going to learn more from doing than you are from watching. So my advice is always to buy some products and just give it a try yourself. But if you are somebody who needs some hand holding or wants a course, I do think this is one of the better ones out there. So if you've done this course, if you've bought this course, if you've tried this course, feel free to drop a comment below and let me know what you think. For those of you guys wanting to know about the free 65-page import guide, it's right here on my blog post. However, I will also link to it in the description box below. If you found this video helpful, if you enjoyed it, please leave a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, and stay tuned, guys. I will catch you on another video soon.